All right. Hey, this is Rudy. I want to show some more geocentric resources that came in the mail. And maybe in the next few weeks, I'll just make one video showing everything. But right now, there's stuff coming in the mail and I want to show it as it gets here. The first one is Where in the Universe Are We? By Professor Philip Stott. It's a really good lecture. Where in the Universe Are We? Professor Philip Stott. This one is Problems in Astronomy. Problems in Astronomy, also by Professor Philip Stott. And I'm going to name this video the Oort Cloud, O-O-R-T Cloud, and I want to talk about that a little bit. Okay, this one, it comes in it's just an empty DVD, but if you open it up, it's Geocentricity by Martin Selbrede. Okay, I don't know what all that stuff is. I think he did it in 1993. And he says, what if you scheduled a debate and your opponent didn't show up? Okay, and he gives a lecture to a crowd on geocentricity because his debate opponents did not show up. The next one is the Biblical Astronomer, winter of 2013, the Biblical Astronomer. Here's a book called History of Geocentric Theory, Series number 1, The Fixed Idea of Astronomical Theory, by August Tishner, with an introduction by Gerardus de Beau, PhD. Okay, this one is The Bible and Geocentricity, The Bible and Geocentricity by James N. Hansen, Professor Emeritus, the Cleveland State University. And here's one by Dr. M. Strauss, He Maketh the Sun to Rise, A Look at Biblical Geocentricity. And then here's some really good stuff. It's Galileo Was Wrong, the Church Was Right. This one is the 3 books that I bought, but this is on CD-ROM so you can search it. Okay, by Robert Sungenis, PhD, and Robert J. Bennett, PhD. And he's coming out with a movie this summer, supposedly, so I'm looking forward to that. He's got a website called GalileoWasWrong.com. Okay. All right. Okay, I always want to show my geocentric resources because they're very rare and they're not cheap, and I want to show them because if you're another geocentrist, you may want to know what resources I'm looking at, and if you know about geocentric resources that I don't know about, I would ask that you share them with me. So, okay, I just uploaded a video to my channel that's proof that the IRS was targeting me, right? Just like they're saying in the Drudge Report, and just like they're saying in mainstream news. Back in April of 2012, I made a video. You guys can go look at it. It says, for the record, I am being targeted by the IRS and ICE. I mean, I knew that I was. I'd never had any trouble with the IRS in my life. As soon as I come out being a birther, and as soon as I come out assisting with promoting a get-together by Pastor James David Manning, Pastor Carl Gallups, Orly Tates, all of a sudden I get a fine. I'm told that I've underpaid my taxes. I don't know, they basically say that I owe them $25,000, right? I get a letter in the mail from the IRS and it says, you owe us $25,000 more. And that can be very disturbing to normal people. It's very disturbing to me, right? But see, there are people that have gone to jail for this cause. One of them is Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin, so I'm not going to get up here and whine about the IRS targeting me. I knew what I was getting into when I got involved in this situation, and I'm willing to give my life to say the truth. Pastor James David Manning gave a sermon several years ago that I still remember, and that sermon is, the bad guys are willing to die to get away with the bad stuff they do. To do the wickedness that they do, they're willing to die. But see, where are the good guys willing to die to do what's right? And so I knew when I came out as a birther and I promoted some of the things that I promoted on my YouTube channel, I said, I know they're going to target me. So, but I'm not putting that up there to whine or to complain, because like I said, Lieutenant Colonel Terry Lakin was sentenced to 6 months in Fort Leavenworth prison for what he did when he came out with his stating the truth about Obama's not being eligible. And Ken Hovind has spent several years in prison for fighting evolution, right? So I'm not whining, but I put that video, I re-uploaded it to my channel to remind you guys that this ain't no joke, right? It ain't no just, we just don't get on here and say the truth because we love, being different than everybody. When the United States government says that you owe them $25,000, that's a serious thing. Not only that, right? Not only that, but back in April in the same video, my HR department called my work. I've been working there over 13 years, and the ICE, Immigrations Customs Enforcement, did a random citizenship audit, called my work, and said if Rudy doesn't show his birth certificate, you need to fire him. And I even made that, I made it very clear with my HR department, I will not show you my birth certificate unless you threaten to fire me. And they said, if you don't show it to us, we will have to fire you per this government instruction, right? And so I knew right then and there I was being targeted. But, I got a birth certificate, and I joked around, and I said, well, maybe I'll send it to you on a PDF file, and I'll just cut it from different people's, other people's birth certificates, like our president did, our so-called president, usurper in chief. Anyway, I just wanted you to know that this is real, and it ain't no joke getting out here saying the truth, and I'm willing to deal with whatever consequences, even if I die. Right? I don't get up in the morning and say, Lord, kill me, but I say, Lord, use me in whatever way you think is best, and if I happen to die, that's fine too. I just want to be used by you, Lord, and I hate wickedness, and I'll do whatever you want me to, Lord. But if you give me my preference, I want to bring justice to the wicked. That's what my wife and I pray for every single day, is we pray for justice for the wicked. Okay, I want to talk about the Oort cloud. Okay, that's going to be the title of this video. OORT cloud. Okay, and I told you guys I'm studying all this geocentricity stuff. Okay, you guys, I'm telling you, man, the more I study it, the more I realize that Copernicus, Kepler, Galileo, Carl Sagan, Einstein, Hubble, all of these jokers were just propagating a satanic lie, which is that the earth revolves around the sun. The earth doesn't move, folks. The earth doesn't move. And also the universe is not billions of years old. And I want to focus on that this particular video. But you guys may or may not have heard of short period comets. Okay? You guys know the difference between a comet, an asteroid, and a meteor, right? I had to go look that up myself. But my understanding is a comet orbits the sun, and as it goes around the sun, it loses some material and comes off in a tail, and sometimes it gets bright and fuzzy, right? And nobody will disagree that these short period comets are less than 10,000 years old. They can't be more than 10,000 years old, right? Because they lose some material, and every time they go around the sun, they lose more material. And they just looked at the size of them, and they said, there's no way that thing could be more than 10,000 years old. Well, how the heck do you rectify a short period comet that there's no way that it can be more than 10,000 years old with a supposed universe that's 4.7, oh, I'm sorry, the Earth is 4.7 billion, right? How many billions of years old is the universe, They probably got, I don't even know how old they got it. But what I'm trying to say is that short period comet is a neon sign from God. When we see a comet every now and then, and it's coming through like the Hale-Bopp comet, and everybody looked up in the sky and they saw it going through the sky with its tail, you know what that is? That's a neon sign from God saying the universe is not billions of years old. The universe is less than 7,000 years old, just like when they calculate that short period comet has to be less than 10,000. It lines up perfectly with the Bible, right? The short period comets are a neon sign from God saying the universe is not billions of years old. Now, I think I was mentioning, I was on another topic about comets. They orbit the sun. They get that bright fuzzy tail. An asteroid, I think, orbits the sun as well, but it don't get bright and fuzzy, right? Asteroids can be different than comets because they never get bright and fuzzy. And then a meteor, I think, comes through our atmosphere. So a meteor is what comes through Earth's atmosphere, and it may or may not hit the Earth, right? I don't know, but that's the difference between a comet, an asteroid, and a meteor, right? Comets go around the sun. They have a bright, shiny tail. Asteroids go around the sun, they don't get bright, and then you got meteors that come to the earth. Okay, but anyway, let me finish my train of thought here. So how do the atheists, these lying, reprobate demons, like Hawking's and Einstein and all these Carl Sagan types, how do they rectify the fact that we have short period comets that cannot be more than 10,000 years old, right? You know how they rectify it? They make up this fairy tale about an Oort cloud. There's no evidence for it whatsoever, but they just say that there's this Oort cloud of comets that surround the outer part of our universe, and every now and then, once upon a time, in a galaxy far, far away, this star called Nemesis, which nobody's ever seen or heard of, just made up in their imagination, this Nemesis passes through the Oort cloud and knocks some of those short period comets into our solar system and happens to go around our sun, right? See, they have to make up these fantastical stories about Oort clouds and a star called Nemesis that they've never heard of, and this hypothetical Oort cloud to justify the existence of a neon sign going through the sky that says the universe is less than 10,000 years old. See, the Oort cloud is nothing but a made-up story, and they have to make up these stories in order to get you to believe that the universe is billions of years old. Let me give you another example. You ever heard of the Michelson-Morley experiment? Okay, basically he shot light wave down a tube that was running vertical, and one that was going horizontal. And he shot it in the direction the Earth was supposedly moving around the sun. And he measured the light waves as they come back, as they bounced off a mirror at the end of those tubes. And the light waves were exactly matched up, right? And he expected the one that was going in the direction of our orbit around the sun to be off a little bit, because it should have a head start of 66,000 miles per hour. That's supposedly the speed that we're orbiting the sun, is 66,000 miles per hour. We're also supposedly rotating at 1,000 miles per hour, which nobody can feel. You get on a little boat, in the ocean, and you'll see a few women and a few weak-kneed men vomit off the side of the boat. But supposedly we're just moving at 1,000 miles per hour on the equator all the time, and nobody feels it at all. But let me get back to this Michelson-Morley experiment. When this light wave came back exactly at the same speed and wasn't influenced at all by the 66,000 mile per hour orbit around the sun like they expected, basically they could have interpreted the data to say, hey, the Earth ain't moving. The Earth is exactly stationary. They could have said that. You know what they said instead? These geniuses of modern science, they said, well, maybe when the metal tube that the light went down, when it's going in the direction of our orbit, maybe the tube shortens. I'm not joking. That's what they said at the time. Maybe the metal tube shortens a little bit, and it causes the light to come back at the same time as the other light going in the other direction. See, the Michelson-Morley experiment proved that the Earth is stationary, but they made up all this crazy stuff to get around it, right? Anytime they come across evidence that says the Earth is stationary, they just make up a bunch of crazy stuff and lie to you. You know, let me jump to another topic real quick. I only got a few minutes. If you Google how far can the Hubble Space Telescope see, how far can the Hubble Space Telescope look at, you'll find out that it can see 10 to 15 billion light years. That's what they say. They'll say that the Hubble Space Telescope can view out in space 10 to 15 billion light years. Well, if that's true, if it can view that far, why don't they point it at the moon and show us the flag that got planted on the moon by the astronauts? Hey, that's another story altogether, but I'm just saying, wouldn't you think that's a good idea? Let's point that space telescope at the moon and let's see that flag that they planted on the moon. Can we do that just for a second? Hey, this Big Bang Theory, you know what they say? They say that all the matter of the whole universe, everything that you can imagine, every galaxy, every universe, every black hole, every star, everything you've ever seen fit in the space of a nanoparticle before it exploded into everything that we see. That's what they say. And you call me crazy for believing in geocentricity. You gotta be kidding me. I tell you what, once you start to get to see what the truth is, and you start to dig into the depth of the science of this geocentricity stuff, and you align it with the inerrant, preserved Word of God, which never lies, you're gonna realize we've been lied to by modern science. And we've been lied to all of our lives. Everything we've been told is a lie. May God protect and uplift and bless the righteous. May he bring divine justice to the wicked.